Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I am Kristen from Kristen Cain Style. I am a style and mindset coach, and I help women create wardrobes they absolutely love wearing by teaching them how their thoughts are creating what's happening in their style. It took me a long time. I've worked in retail and in closets and fitting rooms for most of my adult life. And it's only in the last 4 or 5 years that I really came to understand that the thoughts that we think and the feelings that are generated by those thoughts create the outcome in our wardrobes. If we are not happy with how we look and feel when we get dressed, we can trace it back to what we're thinking and how we're acting, the actions that we're taking as a result of those thoughts. And it's subtle, and most often when I start to work with a client and we begin to discuss the limiting beliefs, I'm usually met with the comment that, well, I don't have any limiting beliefs around style or around my wardrobe or around clothing. And yet when we poke a little bit further or we peel back a few more layers, it is always this kind of aha moment when the client realizes, oh yes, I have thought since 3rd grade that I can't wear orange, but I actually really love orange, but I don't have any in my wardrobe because of this one situation on the playground when I was 9. And we think that's a little bit ridiculous, but it is exactly what happens. It happens in all areas of our life, not just in our clothing and in our, with our clothing and with our wardrobe. But my work, the part that I want to pay attention to when I help clients is how their thoughts are affecting how they look and feel when they get dressed. So if you would like information on how I work one-on-one with clients, Style Therapy is my signature program. There is a link down below. You can book a consult call if you like. The program is designed around all the different elements of getting dressed and how to make the whole process easy and affordable and fun. And so if you're interested in learning more, you can check out the link below and we can kind of go from there. The consult call will help you decide if it's a good fit for you right now. The transformation is incredible. My clients get results on the other side of it. The texts and the emails and the photos that I receive just fill up my heart because I know that I am doing the work that I am intended to do, and that is helping women just really look and feel amazing in their clothing without having it be complicated or expensive. So today I want to talk about a topic that is pretty related to what I just shared about style therapy, and that is, does it even matter whether you have style or not? I hear from women. Usually it's women who I'm not working with actively, who aren't actually clients yet. Whether it's just once a woman hears what I do, they'll be asking questions or making comments, or people in my immediate circle, friends and acquaintances. This misconception that it is not okay for our style to matter to us, that somehow if we spend any time and energy on creating a personal style that's amazing, we're frivolous or we're shallow or we're just so conceited or so well off that we have nothing else to think about besides spending money on clothing. And I would like to dispel all of that and really help you to understand that allowing your style, allowing how you look and feel when you get dressed to matter, and to matter a lot, it benefits everyone. It doesn't just benefit you, it benefits the children and grandchildren who are watching you show up authentically and as your best self. It benefits people in your workplace. It benefits family and friends because you're giving others. It benefits the woman you don't even know who you see, while you're out for your day, who you give her permission to elevate a little bit because she looks at you and says, well, in her mind, maybe she doesn't say it to you directly, but that woman looks so put together. I want to look like that when I leave the house. Maybe tomorrow I could try something similar to what she has on. So allow yourself to be the inspiration for someone else by allowing style to matter to you. So usually when clients come to me, by the time we're entering a working relationship, they've accepted the idea that it's okay for style to matter and that it might even be a little bit important for style to matter. They're tired of not putting themselves first or of not making how they look and feel in their clothing a priority. And they're still a little resistant. They're still a little reserved and almost hesitant about, is it okay? Is it okay that I have moved this to the top of the list and that I've invested money in looking and feeling better in my clothes? Yes, yes, yes. I say yes, a resounding yes. Whether you are working with a stylist or whether you're doing this work on your own, it is absolutely okay. And more than okay, I believe essential for a really well-lived life, that you prioritize yourself, and that whatever your style, I'm not trying to make fashionistas out of my clients or out of the women who are watching me here. I want you simply to have whatever style you want to have, however simple or elaborate that is, however casual or fancy, however expensive or inexpensive. I want you to develop your own sense of personal style so that when you get dressed, you're lit up. And when you go out into the world, that shows. And it is allowed to matter. If there's nothing else you take away from today's video, please take away that it is okay that you pay attention to your style. That does not mean that it needs to become your full-time job or your ultimate obsession to continue thinking about and talking about and reading about and learning about clothing and style and fashion. I'm not trying to create that monster version of you at all. I simply want you to give yourself permission and to accept the fact that it is okay for style to matter. And it's more than okay, because when you show up as the best version of yourself, you give others permission to do the same, and you show up more fully, allowing the rest of your life to sort of ripple out from that amazing, outfit that you've put together, or just the sweater that's a little bit more you than what you've been wearing. So I want to run through some ways that will hopefully reassure you that it is absolutely okay to allow your style to matter and to prioritize, paying attention to what's hanging in your closet and making sure that you have a wardrobe that is functional and fabulous for the life that you are currently living. So first, having a style that you love boosts your confidence. It can really go a long way to having you show up more fully and authentically and empowered in situations where if your clothing doesn't really match who you are at this stage of life, you don't show up with that same sense of zip and oomph, because you don't feel that support from the outfit that you have on. And when I say outfit, I use that term very loosely. I am not someone who believes that our outfit should be complicated or intricate or difficult to put together. By outfit, I simply mean you are dressed from head to toe. You have some sort of clothing covering you from head to toe. And usually I opt in my own wardrobe and with clients who are seeking the same to work with the fewest pieces that work the best and the easiest without making it difficult or intricate or involved in a way that makes it not fun. So when you show up with more confidence, you have more energy, you have a different kind of energy, you are more productive, you are happier. If your outfit makes you feel wow, then when you show up in the world, there's more wow in your day. So give yourself permission to allow your style to matter, because it tends to boost confidence. The next thing about having your style matter is it's a form of self-care. Our lives are busy, whether we are really trying to slow it down and dial it back, or whether we are full in the throes of just all, having it come at you all the time. Our lives are busy. And because our lives are busy, we need to find ways to take care of ourselves. And paying attention to your style and allowing your style to matter and wearing things that you really truly adore is a form of self-care. You are nurturing yourself by the clothing that you are putting on. It's not optional. In most of the world, clothing is not optional. And so if you have to wear some sort of clothing, why not have style matter enough to you that you create a wardrobe that really truly lights you up and makes you feel really nurtured and supported, so that you are practicing self-care every single time you get dressed. And the next thing that having your style matter affects in your life is it can help you stand out. They're in the world of mass merchandising and retailers where everything kind of looks the same season to season. If you develop your own sense of style, it helps you to stand out. It helps your own unique personality to shine. And it's a way of expressing yourself and really allowing others to see what's authentic for you and what's maybe not, by the way that you dress and the clothing you choose to put on your body and have hanging in your closet. It's a self-expression. And so having some sort of a signature piece or a signature style or a signature color allows you to, style matters to you enough that you've created this kind of signature idea, and it lets you stand out a little bit. It puts a little bit of a unique twist on your combination of pieces, and that matters. Style matters because it can help you achieve your goals. And this is one of those kind of mindset, almost Jedi mindset trick sort of things. When you pay attention to your style, if that style, let's say, is CEO of your company and you are stepping into the style of that version of you, it helps you achieve your goals because you show up differently at work. And if your style is romantic and cozy because you're, in this stage of building a relationship or attracting a partner, you show up differently when the clothing supports the life that you are living or the life that you would like to be living. So having your style matter can help to support your goals. It can help you achieve those goals by the sense of acting as if. If you want to own a beautiful beachfront home, then adopting, straw hats as part of your style, or beautiful sundresses or beautiful sandals, those things that you would wear when you have that beachfront home, that all works towards, that kind of self-fulfilling prophecy of I'm stepping into who I want to be in the future. And then the opportunities and the situations and the possibilities keep shifting so that I get closer to that future. So having your style matter moves you closer to your goals. And having your style matter can be fun. I think we have this idea that if style feels overwhelming and if our, the idea of figuring out what to wear and how to look great in our clothing feels kind of frustrating and like way too big a task, and we could never get it right, we take the fun out of clothing. I mean, clothing is supposed to be fun. There are so many options out there, kind of almost too many options. But if we're using clothing, if we decide that clothing matters, if we allow that to be okay, and we're using clothing as a self-expression, clothing can be fun. Shopping for clothing can be fun. You can make a day of it with a friend or go by yourself and have it be sort of a field trip. You can, decide you're going to wear a new color and bring that into your wardrobe. You can, work with a stylist or work with a friend or a family member who can help you define your style and, kind of begin to create this wardrobe that matters to you. It should be fun. It's not meant to be drudgery and something that brings up a whole lot of negative feelings. There are ways to have style and fashion and building a wardrobe be fun at any price point, any body type, any age, any circumstance. It can be fun to work with what you're wearing if you allow it to be. And once you decide that it's okay for your style to matter, because you really do have to give yourself permission for that, because if you don't, every time you try to go shop for something new or try to clean out your closet or try to put together new combinations, some part of your brain is going to say, yeah, but this doesn't really matter. You should go clean the garage. Or this doesn't really matter. You should go make dinner. Or you should go do something more productive. This isn't really that important. It's frivolous and it's unnecessary. Just wear what you have. You have to give your brain permission to allow style to matter and to allow yourself to investigate it a little bit and understand that it's okay for it to matter, and you're going to dig into what really matters most to you so that you can create the wardrobe and get on with your life. This is not about having it matter to you every single weekend for the rest of your life. It is about having it matter enough that you create a wardrobe that supports you and works for you and that you adore wearing, so that then you can just get on with it until there's a gap that needs to be filled, or something wears out and you need to replace it, or your style or your life or your circumstance changes and you want to tweak your style a little bit and have it evolve a little bit. It is worth paying attention to what's happening and what's working and what's not, and you need to give yourself permission for that, because if you don't, your brain will kind of put the brakes on and say, do something else. So once you've given yourself permission to have style matter, here's some tips for kind of growing your own personal style, your own sense of personal style, and letting it matter. Start by thinking about your personality. Start by really looking at, who are you and what do you like? I have some clients who are very athleisure driven. That is their happy place. They are happiest in kind of sport clothing or in Patagonia or Prana. And that is a very different client than someone who wants to shop at Madewell and Anthropologie. And that is a very different client than someone who wants to make their own clothing or only thrift. So there's no wrong answer, but pay attention to your personality. What matters to you in other areas of your life? Is sustainability important? Is super easy care important? You don't want to iron anything. You don't want to dry clean anything. Is comfort important? Comfort's important to pretty much every woman I talk to. And I believe that it is a non-negotiable. All of our clothing should be comfortable. Pay attention to your personality and what matters to you with regards to getting dressed and looking and feeling amazing. what things in your personality do you need to pay attention to when you start to build this wardrobe and allow style to matter. And then take some time to experiment. This is not supposed to be a quick fix. You are learning a new way. If you've never allowed style to matter in your world before, you're learning something new. And so it's going to take a little bit of practice and a little bit of time. So allow yourself to experiment. Go on a style field trip. Try on things you never would have tried before. Go into your closet and pull out the pieces that you think you like, but you never put on your body, and start to wear those. Allow it to take as much time as it takes. And you can always set, some sort of a parameter. So if you're a deadline person, you can say, at the end of the month, I'm going to have this style thing figured out, so that you don't allow it to just continue indefinitely, but give yourself enough time and allow yourself to experiment enough that you really truly can land on a style that looks and feels like the style you want to have. And don't be afraid to ask for help, whether that's help from a family member or a friend or a stylist. This is not something you have to have figured out yourself. Oftentimes I hear women say that they feel like they should have it figured out themselves because, first of all, they're a woman, and it's kind of like beauty and hair care. Like, just because we're women, we should have this figured out and know how to do it. That isn't necessarily true at all. And because we have lived X number of decades, shouldn't we know how to get dressed by this point? It's kind of foolish that I would have to ask somebody for help. Dispel that. Just let that go, because if you want to have style matter to you, you might need a little guidance. As I said, whether it's from a family member or a stylish friend or a stylist who you would hire to help you, or just research you're going to do on YouTube or Instagram or Pinterest, it's okay to seek some help and seek some guidance in this. This is a new area for you. You're not going to get it wrong, and you might need a little bit of help. And the last one I'm going to mention, the last kind of tip with regards to allowing your style to matter and kind of building your own personal style, is that style is supposed to keep evolving. We're not supposed to arrive at, this kind of end goal where we now have it all dialed in and we have the perfect wardrobe and this is going to serve us for the rest of our lives. That is never going to happen. And so I understand that would be really nice on some level, but then you would miss out on whatever the new things that would come out, or whatever the new things that would be, that as you grow your style self-trust and as you allow style to matter, you might be more willing to try something you've never tried before. And if you're going to lock in one wardrobe for the rest of your life, you're going to eliminate those pieces that you might be growing into. And so I would really urge you to give yourself permission to allow this to be a process and to allow your style to continue evolving. Often we get stuck in this idea that, well, this was my look for, a decade or two, and I was successful then, or I was happy then, and so this has to stay my look, even though my life has changed and I have changed, and I really am not sure I even like that look anymore. Allow yourself to recognize that evolving your style is part of the process. Our lives change, our bodies change, styles change, clothing wears out, our preferences change, and that's a good thing. It is totally okay. And I think this sometimes trips people up because they think, well, I don't want to spend money on something that I'm then going to outgrow, emotionally outgrow. If my style is going to continue to evolve, then maybe I should just stay here and wait until it's totally evolved in my mind before I buy any pieces. And that's just going to keep you in the same place that you are right now, which is not loving how you look and feel when you get dressed. So that doesn't mean go buy, an outrageously expensive wardrobe, top to tail, and then have to replace it in 6 months because you've allowed your style to evolve. It means pay attention to this. Be deliberate, be intentional. It is okay for style to matter, and by allowing style to matter, you give yourself permission to be a little bit more discerning and to take a little bit more time and to recognize that, well, I love this for 18 months and now I'm kind of tired of wearing it. Or I bought this last season and I never put it on, and I realize now that it's because blank. Style is not supposed to stay the same. The problem we run, a lot of clients I work with are worried that they look dated or frumpy, and that comes from this sense of kind of stale, stuck style where we're not allowing our style to evolve with us. We evolve, and if we're trying to keep wearing the same styles and shapes and brands and all of that we have worn for the last 2 decades, they might still be serving us and they might not. So we just need to kind of look at that and dig into it a little bit and see, are these pieces really serving the person I am and how I want to show up in the world right now? And if not, it is okay that it matters to you to investigate that a little bit and get some new energy and some new pieces and some new looks into your wardrobe. And the last thing I'll say about this allowing style to matter is that this is one of those topics where it's, partially about the clothing, and it is a large part about the mindset. Because when we have limiting beliefs from childhood, from well-meaning parents or siblings or aunts and uncles or other family members or neighbors or bosses, coworkers, when we have the idea that it's not okay for us to pay attention to how we look and feel when we get dressed, when our style doesn't matter based on what we learned growing up, it can be difficult to break that pattern. It can be difficult to decide, my style does matter to me now, when your whole life you were kind of told and reminded that that was frivolous, or that made you shallow, or that made you conceited, that you really shouldn't be having your style matter. And so it's one of those areas where you need to kind of look at, why do I feel like it's not okay for my style to matter? When I think about spending more time or energy or money on my clothing and building a wardrobe that really supports me and that I love wearing, what comes up for me? What are the things that I think automatically, or what are the feelings that I feel automatically? Do I feel shame? Do I feel embarrassed? Do I feel tired? Do I feel frustrated? Do I feel overwhelmed? What things come up for you? If you, as I said, had a grandmother who never shopped because she just did not believe that style mattered, and she wore, the same clothes basically the whole time you remember her, that is in your brain as evidence that you're not allowed to have style matter. And if you can pay attention to those thoughts and kind of excavate them and have them come to the surface so that you can air them out and look at them, once we can see, for so long, I have not been allowing style to matter to me because I had this grandmother or my mother or my father really instilled in me that that was not an okay thing to, put emphasis on in your life, that getting dressed in your clothing should not really be anything you spend much time and energy on. And once you can see that, you can then decide, that was fine for them to say that, and I understand where my beliefs about this have come from. And now today, as an adult, I am going to make a new choice. I am going to begin to create a new belief, and that is that it is safe for my style to matter. It is 100% okay for me to create a wardrobe that I love wearing. I show up better in the world when my style matters to me. When I pay a little more attention to what I'm wearing and the clothing I'm bringing into my closet, I show up better in the world. I'm a better mom. I'm a better grandmother. I'm a better employee. I'm a better friend. I'm a better wife. I'm a better partner. When I feel more amazing in my clothing, therefore, I am going to give myself permission to allow my style to matter. So every topic I talk about here has a mindset component, but this one definitely does. I feel like it's a little more obvious than some. So if you are feeling some resistance to this and like, I feel bad when I make style matter, there are other more important things to do, all of those other more important things to do will get better attention from you and will rise to the top once you really feel like your most authentic, elevated self. You will show up in all those other areas as an even better version of you. And that's the goal. Our clothing should support the life that we live. So if you have all these things that you feel are more important than style, I offer you the suggestion of paying a little more attention to how you look and feel in your clothing, because it's going to ripple out, and then those other things that you do, you're going to show up more fully for, because you're going to feel fabulous when you get there. Okay, that's what I got for you today. I am always here. If you've got questions, just drop them in the comment box below and I will be happy to answer them for you. If there are things you would like me to address here, topics that kind of keep circling back, or thoughts you keep having, or actual things in your wardrobe that you'd like me to unpack a little here, just let me know. You can drop that in the comments and I will put that on my roster for future videos. I am over on Instagram pretty regularly at Kristen Cain Style. I'd love to have you come visit me over there. Thank you for being here. I put a new video out every Friday. And Style Therapy, if you would like to work with me within my signature program, which is called Style Therapy, there is a link down below that'll give you all the details. Essentially, it is just a transformative process of getting you from a place where you really aren't loving how you look and feel when you get dressed to a place where style matters and matters just the right amount. We're not making style the most important thing in your life. We are, in contrast, making your wardrobe just really work for your life so that you can show up in all the areas that do matter to you, looking and feeling amazing. Okay, that's it for today. Have a really beautiful week, and I'll see you next Friday.